Hello and welcome back to another episode of Elevate Your Life podcast. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. How's your week been, Lynn?
A good week, thank you. Feeling good. Training has been good. Have been thoroughly enjoying having some new starters joining the team, setting out their goals for the summer because, believe it or not, it is like 12 weeks until June, which brings me great joy.
My gosh.
But it's funny when you're mapping out for people that are working towards, the summer and that. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a 12-week countdown. Which is only a good thing. We love the evenings getting longer and potential holidays and some vitamin D back in our lives. But yeah, that kind of hit me this week when I was doing that little countdown, because when we road map out for clients, got me excited.
Things are flying. I have absolutely loved seeing blue sky every day this week. It is it's the highlight of my day, seeing that blue sky. I don't know about you, but we live quite high up, but when the cloud's low and it's quite foggy or misty, I just always feel like I never quite wake up during the day. And then when you can see the blue sky, obviously Paul always laughs at me, but I say when the clouds aren't there, you don't feel as kind of closed in. I don't feel claustrophobic. I feel like I can breathe a little bit better. Having that blue sky has just been awesome to have every day. I've got up and I've actually gone to the gym, started training first thing in the morning again this week, so I've been up every morning. And just to see the sunrise, 6 a.m. and it's light.
Yeah, I had this conversation.
It's amazing.
With one of my clients who usually leaves the gym and it's dark, and she's leaving the gym with the sun rising, and it's just very on topic for today because we're going to be talking about motivation, but it really is a game changer. And it doesn't matter what time of year it is, we can still get our I was going to swear there, get our stuff done, and we can use the weather as an excuse, but we can't ignore the fact that it makes such a difference, and can motivate us, one might say.
Absolutely can. And it certainly motivates me in the lighter mornings. I feel like the days are longer. I don't want to be in bed, when it's light outside. I feel like I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
And even, a couple of days ago, I actually got out of bed, got dressed. And again, this is something that we can kind of come on to, but got my usual morning routine and had a little bit of a headache. I thought I'm just really not feeling it, but steps in place, I'm going to go anyway.
Yeah.
I got all the way to opening the gate and just thought, do you know what? I'm not going to go today. I'm going to push today's session.
Yeah.
And I came back in the house and I did some cardio and I felt amazing. But it was having those steps in place, that actually got me out of bed.
Yeah. Yep.
Which was huge.
Yeah, it's not like you looked outside from your bed and said, I'm not getting up and doing that today. You had the intention, you got up, you kind of reflected, you saw how your body felt, and you were like, you know what, gym's not for me today. I'm gonna do this instead. But you still did something for you. You still put yourself first. And what I love as well is I feel like sometimes when people like miss a session, they're like, oh, fail, what can I do? Is there another day of the week you could go? Just push it out. Like, I love that. Starting the morning strong.
Starting the morning strong with a bit of fresh air. As we say, if you don't have fresh air, if you can't get out for a walk, just stand on the front door. Like get that sunshine in now that it's nice and bright in the morning.
And we had some listeners feedback to me that they did that and that they stood at the door and they were like, even though it was a bit chilly, I stood at the door, I inhaled some of that, fresh air with my dressing gown on, and they openly said how good they felt. So yes to the fresh air in the morning.
I am that person that will go outside in the dressing gown with a coat on top of it, just wander around the garden. All those extra layers. I'm about those extra layers when it's chilly. But yeah, just wrap up and get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Which I think brings us nicely on, as we were saying, to this week's topic, which is lacking motivation. What do we do when you are lacking motivation? How can you give yourself a kick up the backside and do what you said you were going to do?
I wrote a post about this on Instagram because I had a conversation I had a Zoom call with a newish starter to our team. So I was chatting about, how are you getting on? How have the first couple of weeks been? Getting into the nitty gritty. And she said, all's good, but I just need you to help me a bit with motivation. I need a bit more motivation. How can I get a bit more motivated? And I said, well, if you're, in short, there was much more to it, but if you're relying on motivation, I'm afraid we're not going to get very far, because there's many a day that you don't feel motivated. There's many a day that an obstacle comes your way and you don't want to tick a certain box. What it comes down to is the habit you build, the discipline that you can build and maintain, and also knowing why you're doing it. But yeah, that's what's kind of inspired the conversation today, I feel.
Motivation's finite. It runs out. It's not something that we were born with that is always going to be there. It's something that you've got to, train. It's like your brain. It's a muscle. Well, motivation isn't a muscle, obviously, but it's
Where's that one now, Jen?
Could you imagine if it was? Motivation is something that we have to work on, and when it does lack, this is where, as we'll come on to, your routines, your structures, your habits are going to come into play and really enable you to see out what you set out to do. Yep,
that is it. And the question is, because people still wonder, for you, what motivates you then? What gets the fire underneath you?
Yeah, a whole host. I would be lying if I said one thing, because it depends what mood I'm in, it depends what day it is, it depends what I'm trying to do. Obviously, we're talking about training and nutrition and working towards that goal. For me now, I have multiple goals. So the long-term goal is overall health and being confident in myself as often as I possibly can. But if we're talking about short-term goals and things that I'm actively working towards, I'm going on holiday, and that is coming up very, very quickly. It's 4.5 weeks away, maybe even closer, depending on when this episode goes live, and that is my short-term goal. But I know that if I don't want to get up in the morning and go to the gym, I'm not going to feel good in terms of my mood for the rest of the day. I've not ticked that box. I've potentially, slacked around the house in my pajamas for a little bit too long. It makes me feel lazy, and I just don't get off to a good day. I'm then not productive, and I hate not being productive.
Yeah. The game changer there that you said is literally just having goals. If you don't know where you're going, how on earth are you meant to stay motivated if you don't have something set in stone? And like that, your long-term goal of and I would be the exact same, just overall health. I want to be a healthy adult. I want, if I'm lucky enough to be a mum someday, I want to be able to run around fit. I want to be able to be older and pick myself up out of a chair. There's obviously those big goals, but it's having those smaller things, like your holiday, or wanting to feel those endorphins every week and have that feeling. Those are the things that you have to set in stone and reflect on and set yourself to stay motivated and stay moving. Because if you don't have that, what are you working towards?
You said, what lights that fire underneath you. And I think for me, a big part of it is experiencing what my body is actually capable of. Because sounds quite big-headed, but I surprise myself. And I think that is so fantastic, to go in and be a little bit maybe anxious about a workout, if you're chasing numbers, or if you have a goal, it's a performance goal, which again is a great motivator to have a performance goal, because you're working towards something that is tangible, that you can see, and you can literally feel if you have a lifting goal, a lifting performance goal. So for me to be working towards those goals and know that I'm actively, getting stronger and feeling fitter and recovering more, that is motivation in itself. The other thing is just a damn good podcast or, music playlist.
But there's nothing, it's feeling like a strong ass woman. Like walking away from an exercise or coming back in the door after a run and being like, heck yes, I did that. And it's that feeling, isn't it? And like you said, chasing the numbers as well. But then very simply, like, that's the big things. You have the small things that can get you going on a day that you don't feel so motivated, but discipline, your discipline might carry you through, but you can have these little things that'll help you along the way. So like you said, a podcast, something to like get you going. Like, I know we've spoken about this briefly in our morning when we spoke about morning routines, but like having a really good playlist, like I don't know about you, like I can be very strange with the different variety of things that I listen to when I'm in the gym.
You would be shocked if you saw my Spotify.
It can go from like really like girl power, R&B, Beyonce, Destiny's Child, we love a bit of that, all the way to like, I don't even like, I love like a good old indie playlist sometimes. Yeah, but like it's anyway, beside the point of my like variety of choices of music in the gym, having something like that so you can zone out and get in the zone and jazz yourself up maybe in the car on the way. All these little things help.
Mm-hmm. When was the last time that sticks out in your head that you absolutely could not be bothered with going to the gym? You just didn't want to be there. You didn't, like, your motivation was on the floor.
You know what? It happens often, and that's why I'm struggling to think of a time, because this week I had that. I was feeling a bit sorry for myself one of the days this past week. I don't know why. It could be a combination of lots of things. We are female. Could have been hormonal. Who knows? But I was in a lull and I was feeling unconfident and I was feeling a little fatigued. I had some sore muscles and just sorry for yourself. I was a bit low and I did not want to go. It was actually just going to do some cardio in the gym that I had in my plan of the week. And I really, really didn't want to go. How I pulled myself out of that was really thinking and reflecting on how much crappier I was going to feel if I didn't go. And maybe that's easier said than done. I didn't listen. I actually didn't actively listen to some music, and I actually went to the gym in a mood and I arrived there in a mood. So yes, was I successful in getting there? I was, but what I did was I was like, if I have to go back into work after this for the rest of the day, how am I going to approach the calls with my clients? How am I going to complete those tasks if I continue out through this day not ticking that box? How am I going to feel? Am I going to be as sprightly on the calls with the girls I'm going to be chatting to? Am I going to reflect this like negativity? And I just thought, just go. It might not be successful. You might feel kind of crappy during, but just go, get it done and see how you feel afterwards. And of course, 10 minutes in, I felt so much better. But this is where, you have to, it really does come down to discipline and giving yourself a kick in the butt, because I didn't use some jazzy playlist to get myself there. I didn't, scroll through fitness inspiration. I literally said, Lynn, get your butt in the car, go and do it, and come home and you'll feel better. And that was literally it. Mm-hmm. I kicked myself in the butt.
And that is needed. Mm-hmm. We say to the girls in our team, we're here to hold your hand, but we're also here to give you a kick at the backside when you need it, because we all do from time to time. Yeah. And I can completely relate. There was many times. Many times, yeah. Today, let's just use today as an example. Mm-hmm. Got to the gym. I got to the gym. It was early. It was 6:15 when I got there. It was busy, and it's a small gym. I've said this before, but it was great. You know, I was in a really good mood. The sun was out. I watched the sunrise. Started my session, and it was an upper body session. Got my my warm ups. Did my warm up sets. Went to do first working set of a military press, and I just heard something crunch in, and I literally heard something crunch in. Behind my right scapula, my shoulder blade, and it hurt. And this is separate to, of course, if you are really injured, then obviously don't push through. But I could quite easily have thought, do you know what, I'm just going to go home and not do anything. And I didn't want to be there after that point, but I knew that if I went home I would kick myself because I'd done nothing. So I stayed, and I did some rehab, I did some foam rolling, did some stretching, and it was a great session. It wasn't what I had planned, and that's okay sometimes. You've got to work around things. But I stayed, and I did what I wouldn't have done if I'd have come home. If I came home, I would have got a shower and started work.
Yeah. And I think it's important to remember that the outcome doesn't always have to be that you had a great workout and pushed for that PB and your shoulders will progress now because of that. Like, we go to the gym for lots of reasons. So you staying and doing that stretching and doing that mobility, you got the same endorphin feedback. You did something for you. You put yourself first. And that's a major win. Like, it's important to recognize why you're there as well. I think that's one of the big things that motivates me, is getting myself to take a step back and realize how privileged I am, like, to be able to go to a gym, to be able to move my body in that way, to be strong enough to do these certain things. That one for me is a big one. Like, when I'm really not feeling it, thinking, like, how lucky are you that you get to do this,
That's huge. That is absolutely huge. I know we've both had a conversation about how to go about, going to the gym or starting a program if you're completely new to this. If you genuinely want to make a change, but your motivation to make that change isn't there, first of all, you need to think about your why. If you're not going to do anything, you're never going to make a change if you don't have a strong enough why as to why you want to make a difference. So you've got to be able to, I always say, be emotionally invested. Or when emotionally invested doesn't work, be financially invested. Because those two together are a recipe for success in my personal experience, because no one wants to waste money. You could invest in a coach, and that's the financial investment. You've got the education, the support there, and the guidance that you need. But being emotionally invested in your why, it could be about changing how you perceive yourself when you look in the mirror, how you feel when you're naked in front of your partner. Do you always turn the light off when you're getting changed?
Yeah.
Are you able to walk past a full-length mirror and stand and look at yourself without picking yourself apart?
Yeah.
The deeper you can get into why you want to make that change, the more successful I truly believe you will be.
What's your why?
I'm emotionally invested in my why.
Can I ask that?
I get teary about this. My why is confidence, is self-confidence. Gosh, if you're watching this back.
Sorry, Jen.
No. But this is what I mean. This is, we practice what we preach.
Yep.
My why is true confidence. Being able to look at myself every single day, regardless of whether I'm bloated or, I'm on my cycle, I've eaten something, and just go, do you know what? I look freaking amazing and I feel amazing because, there are a good handful of times that I don't feel like that, and that's it, to a certain degree. It's okay because I'm working on it. But it wouldn't be okay for me to feel like that if I wasn't doing something to change how I, you know, how I potentially used to, how I used to speak about myself. Mm-hmm. How about you?
Ooh. I have emotionally, I have a couple that are specific to me. In terms of like why I like train in the way I do, I just want to feel like I'm very passionate about feeling very, very strong, and inside and out, and with that being a role model for other women, I hope, in what we do, in that how amazing you can feel, and that confidence that you just spoke about, that I want to show other women how good they can feel and that they can have a taste of that confidence. In terms of being myself more personally as well, similarly along the lines of being privileged to be able to move my body, I think life is far too short not to move and jump and dance and lift things, because will I dive in?
Let's dive. I've already shed a tear, so why not?
Let's dive in. So when I was a teenager, my lovely dad passed away, and he was a super active, very strong man. And all through childhood, we were raised to love exercise, love food. We were all foodies, still am, obviously. And I want to live every day doing that and moving and being outside and feeling strong and feeling fit. And I want to be a ninja, and I want my kids to see me as that, and I want to instill that in them because that's what he instilled in us. So that's my big why.
I want to be a ninja.
I want to be a ninja. I want to be...
If only you were ginger, you could join the Ginger Ninja crew.
I want to celebrate being on this earth and having a fit
Amazing.
And strong body, and I want to show other women how to do that. So there's me diving deep.
What a testament to your dad.
Yeah. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of us for showing other women how to do that.
Yeah. I feel like this has gone in a direction that I was not prepared for. But this is what this is all about.
It's what it's all, but genuinely is what it's all about, because if you all, so for you now who are listening, who might not feel so motivated, if you deep dive into your why, like we have just done, you'll find it and you will get your butt out the door, because it's so much deeper than you know, a clothes size or how you compare to that girl next door or how you look. It's so much deeper than that. And yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of confidence, you know, loving how you're feeling. But if you can find the real meaning behind your why, you're never going to need motivation, because you're going to keep tipping. You're going to keep going.
Absolutely hit the nail on the head. 110%.
Can I dive into the next thing that I've been inspired by?
Why not?
We're having this conversation, the two of us, and we are motivated by our conversation and inspired by our conversation, because we are like-minded people who set ourselves goals. So one thing I think as a tip, because this podcast is all about wanting to motivate yourself, surround yourself or find someone who lifts you up that might have a similar goal, or that you can have as that other bit of accountability, whether that's a financial investment in a coach and a team, because then you're handed like-minded people, or whether it's a friend or a family member that you can, you know, rely on and maybe work on with. There's something so powerful about community, and I do think that's a huge way to stay motivated.
Absolutely. And if you don't have those people around you at the moment, there are so many different ways you can find them. You know, look to look to local classes or Facebook groups, Instagram support groups, reach out to friends of friends or family. Chances are, if you're thinking about it, someone that is probably thinking about it as well, and all you need to do is strike up that conversation.
There's nothing like more lovely than seeing people bounce off each other, and we see it all the time, obviously, because we have our clients that chat to each other. But even just like if you think of like a class that you might go to, like whether it's CrossFit or spinning or whatever you might go to, or like actually recently I was actually driving on Sunday, and it was beautiful blue skies in the morning, and I saw, it was so cold, and I saw like 8 or 9 people, men and women, all different, types of people, you might say, with their high-vis jackets on, out for a run, and they were laughing, running, and it was pretty early. I was out. It was like 8:30 in the morning, and I was driving, and I was just like, they were like laughing, out early, running together, and I was like, yes, like it's coming together to do something that makes you feel wonderful, and having that like high five at the end, or having that person who maybe if you didn't want to go and you texted at 8 o'clock being like, I really don't feel like it this morning, they were like, no, come on, I'm going, let's go. It's that like I said already, community, but it makes such a difference.
Yeah. Myself and my friends, we we made a little bit of a pact to each other that we, would be each other's motivators to get to the gym. So every time we go, it's like, I'm up, I'm going, where are you going today? We send each other pictures of, once we're in the gym, and it works. We live over an hour away from each other, so we physically can't meet up every time you go to train, but it's just having that, someone there to say, well done, or if you're having a bit of a rubbish day, get up and go, you're going to feel better for it.
Yeah. In lockdown, the first one, not to bring up those times, but lots of good things came out of them too, I like to think. In the first lockdown here, when it was very strict, so you couldn't even meet someone outside at the time, you could go out to exercise within 5-kilometer radius by yourself. I trained for a half marathon, and because I was meant to do the Cork City marathon, and we didn't, because you couldn't, because it wasn't on. And me and one of my best friends, we trained for a half marathon together but apart. And what we did was we left at the same time. We both lived locally, and we ran. I say we left at the same time. I left first, and then 15 minutes later she'd leave, and we trained and built from 5k up to for the practice runs 18k, and then we did a half. But we would send each other WhatsApp voice notes along the way, and it was kind of how we got through the longer runs, and we would give each other updates where we had just passed and how we were finding it, or actually just share a bit of news, a bit of gossip, anything that had happened over the last few days. And just checking in with each other like that, we succeeded then. By the time we were ready to do the half marathon, we were allowed to run together, and we did one together, not officially, we just did it locally. But I don't know about her, I won't speak for her, she'll listen to this as well, I would not have done it if it wasn't for having a goal buddy and a friend to have along the way, because running's not my favourite thing. You best believe there was days that I was not going out that door, but she texted me, she was like, I'm leaving, it's your turn, let's go. So find someone to do that, just like your group.
Absolutely love that. What else can we do on top of having goal buddies and community around us to ensure that when motivation decides to walk out the door before we do, that we're going to, stay on track? If we're talking about, routines and having those things in place, where would someone start?
Okay, so very simply, I always think forward thinking and planning, though somewhat boring it might sound when you say, planning, is so powerful. So whether it be a Saturday or a Sunday or whenever you start your week, set your intentions. Take out a diary. How many, walks or gym sessions do you plan on getting in for that week? And write them down. Write them down. When can you fit them in? Because then on that hectic Wednesday when you thought you might get a workout in and work was crazy and something happened with the kids and you don't get that workout in, you'll know the time slots that you can fit them in throughout the week. So I think set yourself up for success by having a plan of action.
Absolutely. Knowing what you need to do in the week coming and setting those things in. We always say, you know, put your workouts in and your meal prepping in like a meeting, like a doctor's appointment. You wouldn't cancel a doctor. I hope you wouldn't cancel a doctor's appointment last minute. You know, you wouldn't cancel a work meeting last minute. You probably would cancel a gym session if work told you had to go to a meeting, which is absurd for people who, you know, it seems it's becoming more and more okay for people to just work overtime and not get rewarded for it, and you know, their own personal goals get pushed to the wayside. But you wouldn't cancel a work meeting to go to the gym. So why would you cancel the gym, you know, to help someone else? I understand sometimes, you know, work restraints, of course, you know, they are important. But set those things in like like an appointment, and do not move them.
Yeah. And one for me that I think is very important and simple, but my goodness, don't start the week with an empty fridge. Like, have yourself stocked. And it doesn't have to be all, you know, a ton of just whole foods that will take you ages to cook. I always say this, it can be so simple and convenient. I've said this on calls with clients so many times. Microwave pouches of rice, frozen veg, you know, cook a few chicken fillets on Sunday, and it can be so simple. But don't leave yourself high and dry again on a Wednesday with an empty fridge and nothing but the phone, so you have to get the pizza. Or let's not demonize pizza. Pizza's fab, but you know what I mean. Set yourself up for success by getting your shop done.
And if you're busy and you're thinking, I haven't got time, you know, to go to a supermarket before 4 p.m. when it closes in England. Don't know if it's the same over there. You know, opens at 10. Some don't open till 11, and then they close at 4. You know, if you're working shifts or if you've got the kids, sometimes it's not realistic to go on a Sunday. Get home delivery.
Yes.
Every Tuesday, without fail, we have a home delivery, and we set it on a Tuesday because we know Mondays are hectic. The weekends we like to chill. You know, we try not to plan things in advance for the weekend. We like to be a little bit sporadic. But Tuesdays we set it in, but we still order food for the full 7 days. So Monday comes round, we know, the fridge is probably, you know, on the emptier side, but it's not empty. We've got things in the freezer, as Lynn said. You know, get some potatoes, jacket potato, and, you know, tins of tuna are great. They're going to last. Simple things. One of my favourite, super quick and easy go-to lunches has to be tuna pasta bake.
I love a pasta bake. And actually, when you just said that there, I forgot about jacket potatoes with tuna. I know some people aren't for tuna. There's many other options, but I'm a fan. Such a simple meal.
Bit of cheese on top. Get those healthy fats in. Absolute game changer.
Another one, just if we're talking smaller things, before you go to the gym, if you have to get it in early, or if you're coming home from work and you have to do a quick change, have your gear ready. It's so small. It's so simple. I do this every single night because right now it's just a habit. Like it's actually crazy how quickly it becomes second nature. Before I get ready for bed, I come in here where my wardrobe is. I pull out what I need for the next day. My leggings, runners, lie them there next to my car keys. Good to go. Put your stuff out because you have to walk past it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. And also it then means that you're not disturbing other people in the house if you're up early. You know, if you have kids or if you've got a partner. I'm
dogs.
pretty sure Paul... Well, I have to walk past our dogs. So, I mean, if they wake Paul up when I'm gone, Oops, sorry. But yeah, put your clothes out, you know, mine go on the windowsill in the bathroom, and make sure that everything's there that I need, you know, my hairbrush.
Yep.
Make sure that everything is there, so you've not got an excuse to dilly-dally and waste time. If you want, you know, a coffee or something to eat, make it the night before, set your cup out on the side, make sure everything is there, and there are as little obstacles to put you off as physically possible.
We're going to delve into that, I think, again another time, because we could go on about habits and how to build them. I think it's another podcast topic that we're dying to do. But like that, do those small things, those little habits that will set you up for success. And I love what you said there, like it's about removing the obstacles. The ones you can control, we control the controllables, is what we like to say.
We do.
So the obstacles that get in the way that you can remove them.
So just to give you a little bit of a roundup, I think our biggest, you know, tip would be to find your why, and to be emotionally invested as you possibly can. And if you are sitting there, you know, listening to this thinking, I haven't got a clue where to start, just take yourself for a little walk, you know, nice and quiet, sit and think, and allow yourself to go deep.
Yeah.
Because the more you do, the more emotionally invested you're going to be. And I feel like this is, you know, it's actually something I did in therapy, which was so useful, and I will, you know, hold with me forever, but it's game changing.
And if you're struggling to find that community or find someone to kind of relay what your why is, like we said as well, emotionally invested or financially invested, doesn't have to be us, but like, invest in yourself. Go and go to a class, go and pay for a class, go and, you know, talk to a therapist, go and join a gym, go and find a coach, reach out to us if that's the case. But there is all kind, you know, when you are invested in something like that, it does give you that extra kick in the butt, because you want to make you want to get your worth out of it.
And just to add to that as well, alongside the financially invest time.
Yes. Oh my God.
With, you know, set time, a specific time that you're going to meet a friend, or, as we said, plan it into your diary like a meeting, so that you know you have that specific time to do it. And the clearer you can be on what you want to do, where you want to get to, and, you know, how you're going to do it, the easier that journey is going to be, and the more motivation you will find that you have as a result of having that clarity. Clarity is key.
If you want results, you have to take action, and all of that is action. So stop thinking and wishing. Find your why and take action.
Action kills anxiety. I have that on a post-it note on my screen, and it's been there for about 2 years. So the next time that you're feeling anxious or, you know, unmotivated, take that first step, one step in front of the other, and keep on going.
I am fired up. Let's go for a run.
I'm going to go out for a walk as soon as we finish this podcast.
Yeah, I need to get some steps.
So thank you, as always, guys, for listening to another episode. I'm just looking at my steps there and thinking I definitely need to get some steps in. Thank you for listening. We hope you took something useful from this podcast. We hope you can get emotional with us as well. And as always, please, you know, like, share, subscribe with anyone that you think would find this useful as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming, guys, and we look forward to I say seeing you again, but we look forward to recording for you again.
Have a wonderful day, and we will speak to you very, very soon.
Bye.
Bye.